Now next, let's have a discussion related to concept of types of goods. Every now and then, here and there, you will keep on coming across the concept of, let's say, public good, private good, etc. So let's have a discussion related to these particular types of goods. Now, I'll be discussing multiple classification of these particular types of goods, but please understand, do not try to water compartmentalize all of these particular classification. For example, a particular good could be falling in multiple categories of classification. Please do not worry about it. Understand the basic concepts more than sufficient for UPSC exam. Let's start. Based on the income, there are two types of the goods. One is called as a normal good. Second one is called as inferior good. Is it okay? Do not be confused here. Earlier, the law of demand has been discussed based on price variation. Is it okay? We have discussed law of demand as well as law of supply, assuming the price of the commodity changes. But in case of the first classification here, I am discussing the classification of goods based on variation in the income. What happens to demand when the income of the consumer changes? Based on this connection, I am discussing this classification. So first set of goods will be normal goods. Second set will be inferior goods. What do you mean by this? In case of the normal goods, simply remember this: the income as well as the demand for the goods will always move in the same direction. I'll repeat the statement here. The income as well as the demand are positively related. If the income of the consumer, or let's say person, increases, the demand for the good will also increase. If the income decreases, the demand for the good will also decrease. That is a connection between the income as well as the demand for a particular good, which is classified as a normal good. And why does it happen? It simply happens for a simple reason. As the income increases, let's say of a person or a household, etc., they will try to consume more of a particular set of a good. For example, imagine this is a household which was dependent on wages so far. Is it okay? The only livelihood source was wages. And because the terminal wages basically refers to certain amount of earnings on day-to-day basis as such, there is no guarantee of how much you are going to earn, whether you are going to earn throughout the year, etc. There is uncertainty attached to this. What if the same household, people in this get jobs either in the private sector or let's say in the government sector, or they start their own enterprise, as a result of which the income of the household increases. And when the income of the household increases, can I simply say that they will start consuming more and more of a certain set of goods. For example, they will prefer to travel by their own vehicle. They will prefer to consume quality rice which is available in the market, etc. So these kind of a goods, the demand for which will keep on increasing with the rise in the income, is referred to as a normal goods. The best example for this is private vehicles. Is it okay? Private vehicles and quality food. So second, inferior goods. In case of inferior goods, understand this. The logic here is the demand for these goods will move in opposite direction of the income. Is it okay? The income as well as the demand are negatively related for these particular goods. In case of a normal goods, positive relation. In case of the inferior goods, a negative relation. Means what? If income of a person increases, the demand for such goods will decrease. If the income of the person decreases, the demand for such goods will increase. Such type of goods are called as inferior goods. Generally, the low quality food grains or low quality rice, public transportation, etc. are examples of inferior goods. Now, in addition to this, I've given one more statement here. Income elasticity of the demand is positive and income elasticity of demand is negative in the context of inferior as well as normal goods. Right? What is the meaning of this? I'll explain this when I take up the concept of elasticity, which I'll discuss next. Okay. Now, this is the first classification. Second classification, one is Giffen good and the second one is Veblen good. Now, generally, when you discuss the law of demand, we say that the price of the good is negatively related to demand for a particular good. That is, if the price moves up, demand should come down. If price comes down, demand should increase. That is generally the agreement with respect to law of demand. But there are certain sets of goods in the market which defy the concept of law of demand. Okay, there are sets of goods, or there are different types of goods which will defy the law of demand. Right, one set of such goods is the concept of a given good, and another set is Veblen good. There are goods which are essentials, etc. So in many of these particular cases, you will see that despite the change in the price, the demand might not move in exactly opposite direction. For example, imagine here is a patient who is consuming drugs. And when I say drugs, I'm referring to tablets. Okay, medication. Now, what if I simply say this particular tablet or medication is necessary for the consumer, right? It is essential for this particular person. Now, at this particular point of time, what if the price increases for this particular commodity? Do you think the patient will reduce the consumption of these particular drugs? Obviously, no. These are necessary. These are essentials, right, for him to stay healthy. So there is no option but to continue to consume it and pay higher amount for these particular drugs as such. So generally, when we discuss the concept of a law of demand and law of supply, we generally take certain assumptions. We are assuming other factors are not changing, right? The income and preference is same for everyone, etc. But in reality, what generally happens is there are exceptions to law of demand as well as exceptions to law of supply. And I'm discussing one set of such exceptions. So based on the prices, there are two classifications or two types of goods. One is called as a given good, and the second one is referred to as a Veblen good. Now, what is the concept of a given good? Now, earlier we have seen the concept of inferior goods. Now, within this particular concept of inferior goods, there are certain set of goods which are classified as given goods. Is it okay? So, given goods are nothing but inferior goods itself. But why these are called as a given goods? Now, understand this very carefully. In the context of the given goods, as the price of the good increases, the demand will also increase. Is it okay? As the price of the good increases, demand also increases. That is, the price as well as the demand are moving in the same direction in case of the given good. Now, please do not be confused here. Why this happens? I'll explain this. Earlier, in the context of the inferior goods, we have connected income as well as a demand. Now, in the context of a given goods, which are nothing but inferior goods, types of inferior goods itself, we are connecting the price as well as demand. Do not get confused. Now, the question is, sir, why is that? With the rise in the price, demand is also increasing. Now, to understand this, let me take a very simple example. Imagine here is a person who has very limited amount of income. Is it okay? Understand the assumptions. Only then you will understand the concept of a given good. Imagine here is a person A, and this particular person A has a very limited amount of income. Now, using this particular limited amount of income, imagine he is consuming rice as well as pulse, or you can simply take rice or meat, which is a protein source. Now, understand this. He is using the wages that he is earning to purchase rice as well as pulses. And he is getting sufficient amount of these particular food grains, just sufficient, right? He is not able to satisfy his hunger, but the amount that he is earning is sufficient to ensure that on day-to-day basis, he is able to get access to the rice as well as pulses. Now, at this particular point of time, imagine the price of rice increases. Okay, at this particular point of time, imagine the price of rice increases. First thing, when the price of rice increases, his income is not changing. His income is limited. As the price of rice increases, how much rice he can consume, how much rice he can purchase will be affected. First thing. Now, if he wants to shift to another quality of a rice, what if I were to tell you that the rice that he is purchasing right now will cost him 10 rupee, and the next available quality of a rice or another variant of a rice which is available in the market is 20 rupees per kg. So earlier the cost of rice was 10 rupee. Imagine the cost has increased to 12 rupees. He cannot shift to a next variant of a rice or next quality rice because it is much more costlier. Is it okay? He cannot substitute this. It is much more costlier. So there is no option for him but to continue to consume this quality of rice itself, even though the price has increased. Now, some of you will simply say, sir, you are saying that with increased price, the consumption increases. But how does consumption increase? Let's go to the next point here. When the price of the rice has increased from 10 to 12, his income is not increasing. But can I simply say that when he purchases the rice at 12 rupees, how much pulses he can purchase will become lower? Is it okay? The amount of pulses that he can purchase will become lower now, right? Let's take a very simple example here. Imagine rice plus pulses he wanted to consume worth 200 grams. Is it okay? I'm just taking arbitrary numbers here. Do not mug up the numbers. Concept is important. Numbers are not important here. So within this particular 200 grams, what if I were to say that he was purchasing and consuming 190 grams of rice and remaining 10 grams was actually pulses. Now, as a result of a rise in the price of a rice, can he continue to purchase the same 10 grams of pulses? No, it is not possible. So he will have to reduce the consumption of pulses from 10 grams to, let's say, 8 grams. But if he consumes 190 grams of rice and 8 grams of pulses, will he be able to meet the requirement of 200 grams of total consumption? No, it is not possible. As the result of this, what he will do is, he will increase the consumption of rice. Have you understand this? He cannot shift to the next quality of a rice because it is very costly. First point. Second, because the price of rice has increased, he will not be able to purchase and consume same quantity of pulses also. Now, as a result of all of this, he wants to consume, let's say, 200 grams of rice plus pulses. But because the consumption of pulses will come down, he will increase the consumption of rice in order to meet this particular criteria of eating 200 grams of rice as well as a pulse. What has happened in this particular situation? Price of a rice has increased from 10 rupees to 12 rupees. But despite that, the demand as well as the consumption of this quality rice has actually increased in the market. So such types of inferior goods wherein the price increases, with increase in the price, the demand also increases, are referred as Giffen goods. Okay. So these are referred as a Giffen goods. Second set of goods is Veblen goods. Now what are these particular Veblen goods? Veblen goods are basically high-end luxury products. Very, very high-end luxury products which are generally consumed by rich people. And the technical definition of a Veblen goods is that with the rise in the prices, is it okay? In case of Veblen goods, with the rise in the prices, the demand will also rise. The demand as well as the price both are moving in the same direction. Such as types of goods are referred as a Veblen goods. Now, some of you will basically say, sir, hold on. Earlier, in case of a Giffen goods, you said the same thing. In case of Veblen goods, you are saying the same thing. That is, the price and demand are moving in the same direction. Then what is the basic difference between both of them? The types of goods which are classified under both Giffen and Veblen are completely different. Giffen goods are generally those set of goods which are consumed by poor households. Very, very poor people consume these set of goods. Whereas the Veblen goods are consumed by rich class or the high-end luxury products which are purchased by very, very rich people in a particular economy. Now, why is that? With the rise in the price, the demand is also increasing, right? Generally, it has been seen that in case of any economy, there is a certain section of the society wherein the amount of money that they have, amount of assets that they have is very, very high, right? In case of India also, you can see there are certain people who will own huge amount of assets, who are very, very rich in the Indian economy. For this class of population, generally what happens is, as the prices of the commodities will keep on increasing, they generally associate this increased price with the quality of the product. And because the price is very high, poor people do not afford or cannot afford these particular products. There is an inversely higher demand for such products by the rich people. And that is generally referred as a snob effect. A snob effect is basic phenomenon wherein there are certain set of goods, the demand for which is inversely related. That is, the rich people demand huge amount of these particular products because they feel that or they know that the poor people cannot afford this, hence they cannot purchase these particular commodities. Hence, right, we will be purchasing it and it will provide us a certain social status in the economy. Is it okay? In the society, by acquiring these particular assets, certain status is provided to these particular buyers in the market. That is the reason more and more of such goods are demanded when the prices of these particular goods are tend to increase or increasing in the market. For example, high carat diamonds, high-end real estate, luxury real estate, luxury cars, sports vehicles, etc. So as the prices of these particular products will keep on increasing, there is a small section of the society in any economy for that matter who will demand more and more of such goods. Right? That is the set of goods referred as Veblen goods. So based on the income, normal, inferior. Based on the prices, Veblen and Giffen. Next, based on the utility to the society, you have merit goods as well as the demerit goods. I'm using the term demerit goods. Some of the books will use the term non-merit goods also. Now, what is the basic idea for merit good as well as a demerit good? Generally, in the context of the merit goods, more the consumption of these particular goods, the economy or the society as a whole will get the benefit of it. Is it okay? I'll repeat it again. Merit goods are those goods the consumption of which will provide certain utility or the benefit to the whole society as such. For example, more is the consumption of, let's say, green vehicles, more is the consumption of education, sanitation, quality transportation, quality healthcare, etc. These types of goods, more and more they are consumed in the market, the society as a whole will get the benefit out of it. Right? For example, if I use more and more electric vehicles, right, assuming there is sufficient supply of this available at affordable prices, if there is a more and more adoption of these particular electric vehicles, can I simply say that the society as a whole will be benefited out of this? Some of you will ask, sir, how? How can you say that consumption of more electric vehicles is going to benefit the society? Consumption of more electric vehicles essentially will make us move away from fossil fuel consumption. And fossil fuels are generally associated with pollution in the economy or pollution in the system as such. Or for that matter, let's say education. More and more education is consumed by youth of a particular economy or a country, children of a particular country. They'll become better equipped with, let's say, the knowledge as such. They could be provided with the skill set using which they can obtain a better job in the market, become part of the labor market. Right? So that is essentially the benefits that are derived by the society because more and more of such goods are actually consumed. And that is a precise reason generally government subsidizes or provides a certain assistance to the consumers in the market so that more and more consumption of such goods takes place in the market. Examples of merit goods are essential goods in the market, healthcare sector, education, etc. And on the other hand, there is also a set of goods which is referred as a demerit good or non-merit good. Now, the idea of a demerit good essentially is that it will create certain negative impact on the overall society as the consumption of this increases. Right? Now, for example, more and more consumption of tobacco products, more and more consumption of alcoholic products, etc. are generally associated with the concept of a demerit good. And not only the consumer will suffer because of more consumption of these goods, the society as a whole will also suffer because of this. And that is a precise reason I've written that in case of a merit goods, there are positive externalities. Is it okay? There are positive externalities, whereas in case of a demerit goods, there are negative externalities. That is, because you are consuming this particular product, the whole society will get the benefit out of this higher consumption. And because you are consuming a demerit good, the society as a whole will suffer because of this. Right? So negative externalities are associated with demerit goods. Positive externalities are associated with the merit goods. So this is one more classification with respect to the goods based on the utility for the society. Next one, based on who is the producer, there are two more goods. One is a public good. Second one is a private good. Okay, public good and private good. In case of the public good, I'll be using two terminologies. Understand this. One is non-rivality and the second one is non-excludable. Public goods are those set of goods which are non-rival as well as non-excludable. Whereas private goods are those set of goods which are excludable as well as a rival. Now some of you will basically say, sir, you are using a technical term such as excludable, rival, non-excludable, non-rival. What do you mean by this? Let's understand these particular terminologies using which again we'll go back to the definition of both public as well as private goods. The idea of a rivality or rivalry as well as excludability refers to this thing. That is, when a particular product will be available to only those particular people who are paying it. Is it okay? When a particular product, good or a service, for example, is available to only those who pay for this, that feature is called as excludable. Is it okay? Right? For example, I will pay for this particular pen. So the pen is available only to me. Only I can use this particular pen as such. Right? You will pay for a mobile phone. Right? So that is a product is available to you. So whether you get access to a particular product or not depends on whether you're paying for the product or you're not paying for the product. That particular feature is called as an excludable. If the product is available to you, you can consume the product or a service only when you're paying for it. That is called as excludable feature. And if you're not paying for it, even then you're allowed to get access to this. Such feature is called as a non-excludable product. Now, generally in case of the public goods, these are non-excludable. Is it okay? These are non-excludable. Private goods are excludable. The pen, you will have to pay for it. The vehicle that you are using, the car that you are using, you will have to pay for it. The tablet using which you are watching this particular video, you have paid for it. The mobile phone that you are using, you have paid for it. So all of these particular products are what? These are private goods. These are private products. On the other hand, let's take another example. On the other hand, law and order situation. That is a defense that is provided to you. The protection that is provided to the public by the government. Do you pay for all of them? I can understand the logic here. The public park that is available. Do you pay for all of these? No, you do not pay for all of this. Right? That is a precise reason. In case of public goods, these are non-rival and non-excludable. Whereas in case of private goods, these are excludable, these are rival. Now I've taken care of excludable feature. What about the rival feature of a particular product? Rivalry of a product essentially refers to feature of a product which makes it unavailable for the next consumer. I'll repeat it again. Rivalry or rivalry feature of a particular product will make the product unavailable for the next consumer in the market. It will basically ensure that the same product or this particular product is unavailable for consumption for anybody else in the market. Let me take a very simple example here. You will go to market, pay let's say 50k or 60k, purchase a mobile phone. Is it okay? Right? So when you pay for it, it becomes a excludable, non-excludable feature associated with this. Done. Now once you pay 50k for the product, you will take this particular mobile phone. Is this mobile phone available for anybody else to consume in the market? No. You have paid for it. Only you can use this particular mobile phone. That mobile phone becomes unavailable for the next consumer in the market. Right? For example, imagine there are 10 mobile phones. Out of 10, you have purchased one. 9 are available, but not a 10th mobile phone now. Right? That particular feature of a product wherein once purchased, once consumed, this product is unavailable for the next consumer. It is called as a rivalry feature. And for a private good, rivalry is applicable. For public good, these are non-rival. Is it okay? These are non-rival. But to be more precise, again the concept of public and private is further divided into two more classifications. Now what is this further division that I am talking of? Now let me write this particular table, understand this particular table very carefully. On one side, I will write rival, non-rival, and on the other hand, I will write excludable and non-excludable. These are the features. Okay. So whenever a particular product is a rival as well as excludable, we'll write this particular product as what? Private good. Now, what if a particular product is a rival, but it is a non-excludable? Okay. What if the good is a rival, but it is non-excludable, right? Those set of goods are called as common goods. Okay, those set of goods are referred to as common goods. What is the meaning of this? Let me give an example later. Just give me a minute. Let me complete the table first here. Okay, so first classification is those set of goods which are excludable as well as rival, private goods. Those set of goods which are rival but non-excludable, common goods. Next, those set of goods which are non-excludable as well as non-rival, these are what? Public goods. Okay, these are public goods. And there are also certain set of goods which are non-rival but excludable. These are called as club goods. Now, we have taken care of private goods as well as public goods earlier. But what do you mean by common goods and club goods here? Let's try and understand this. Let me start an example here. Common goods. Best example for this is public library or books in public library. Okay. And example for club goods is television or the network that you're using, or let's say telephone connections. That is, you're making a call using telephone. Now, let's try and understand this. In case of the common goods, I stated that these are non-excludable and also rival. Example for this is books in the public library. Meaning what? These are non-excludable. Essentially refers to what? You don't have to pay to get access. Do we need to pay money to get into public library? No, that is not required. You can enter the public library, but look at the second feature here. It is also associated with rivalry. Meaning what? Imagine here is a public library, and in this particular public library, let's say hypothetically, there is only one book. I can understand this. Again, I'm just saying a hypothetical situation just to make you understand. Or, right, some of you will simply say, sir, how can you say only one book is available? Let's say thousands of books are there. On Indian economy, only one book is there. Okay, happy? Right? On Indian economy, only one book is there. Now, you have gone to the library before me and right, you are in mood for reading Indian economy book. So what you have done? You have gone to the rack where Indian economy book is kept. Only one book is there. You have taken this particular Indian economy book. You have started reading this particular Indian economy book. Now, I will also come to the same public library. I also want to read the same Indian economy book. Is it possible? It is not possible for a simple reason. That Indian economy book, which was available in the library, right, is being used by you. It is being read by you. You are using that particular book. So can I use the same book? No, I will have to wait in turn. After you keep this particular book back in the rack, only and only then I can use this particular book as such. So there is a rivalry feature here. Once the book is consumed by you, it is not available for me for the consumption at the same point of time, right? So the idea of books in the public library will be basically concept of the common goods. Now, what about those particular goods which are non-rival as well as excludable? These are club goods, right? For example, let's say the TV connection that you have used, right? It could be Airtel connection, Tata Sky, whatever it is, or telephone connection that you are using. Now, can I simply say that when you're making a call, okay, when you're making a call, I can also make a call using the same service provider. If both of us have got the connection, let's say being supplied or being provided by one telephone service provider XYZ, whatever the name of the company, don't worry. When you are making a call, I can also make the call. So at the same point of time, both of us are consuming the services. Is it okay? When both of us are consuming at the same point of time, right, don't you think it becomes non-rival? You are also consuming, I am also consuming the same services, right? It becomes non-rival. But please understand, when you are allowed to make a call, it essentially means that you have paid for this particular service provider, or you have paid for a particular package being provided by the service provider. You have paid money, he is providing you a certain package. Using this particular service, you are making a call. So to make a call, you are supposed to pay certain money for it. Is it excludable? Yes. If you pay money, he will allow you to make a call. But because you also have paid, I also have paid, both of us are able to use the same service provider, use the same right company and make a call, right, to let's say our friend. So because we can consume the same services at the same point of time, it is non-rival. But because we are paying for this particular service, it becomes excludable. So these are the four set of goods. Please remember them. Sometimes UPSC might ask question here and there. So one set of goods is public goods, which are non-rival, non-excludable. Second set is private goods, which are rival as well as excludable. Third one is common goods, which are rival and non-excludable. And the fourth one is club goods, which are non-rival and excludable. This is one more very important classification with respect to based on who is the producer of these particular goods and services in the market. Now, next important classification based on the presence in the economic flow. Now, what do you mean by intermediate good and a final good? Understand the basic difference here. In case of the intermediate goods, these are used for further production. Is it okay? These are used for further production. For example, let's imagine here is a producer B who is producing car. But for this particular manufacturer B to produce car, he will require iron, he will require plastic, he will require certain glass, etc. Now, there is another company, let's say A, which is supplying iron to company B. There is another company, let's say C, which is supplying plastic to company B. There is another company, let's say D, which is able to supply glass to this particular company B. So whenever these particular products are purchased by one business from another business, first point, and second, these are not sold directly to consumers, rather these are used as a part of a production process. Such set of goods are called as intermediary goods. Is it okay? Such set of goods are referred to as intermediate goods. It is not available for us for direct consumption. These are the goods which are used by the producers or the businesses in the market to produce one more good. Such set of goods are referred to as an intermediary good. And the second one, final good. And what do you mean by final goods here? In case of the final goods, these are the goods which are available in the market for consumption. Okay. So these are the goods which are available in the market for consumption. For example, have a look at this. The car that you purchase, okay, the mobile phone that you purchase. Generally, these are the examples of final goods. Okay, these are the examples of final goods. And again, within final goods, right, there is one classification which is called as a white goods. White goods are those electronic goods which are generally used by the consumers or by the households in the market. Now, why these are called as white goods? Generally, in the origin part of the story here or earlier, these goods generally had a white color. That is a precise reason these were called as a white goods. Even today, we are using the same name. For example, fridge, washing machine, right, ACs, etc. Now, some of you will simply say, sir, but today I can purchase a fridge in multiple colors. Apart from white, there are so many other colors. Yes, you are right. But when you see the evolution of these particular products, earlier, these were generally produced in white color. Hence, these are called as white goods. That is one type of a final good that you can see. Another type of a good that is final good is consumption goods, right? Or the consumer goods, right? Consumer goods are those electronic items, the vehicles that you have purchased, the food articles that you have purchased. All of them are basically examples of the consumption goods. In addition to this, there is also capital good. What do you mean by capital good? These are the machines. Capital goods are those particular goods which are used for production of other goods. Is it okay? Using these particular goods, we actually produce other goods. For example, you are purchasing a car. Is it okay? You are purchasing a car. But to manufacture this particular car, the company would have used a machine. That machine is an example of a capital good. You can understand this? And that machine is an example of a capital good. So again, the final goods can be divided into multiple types, but essentially, final goods are available in the market for consumers, right? These are the goods which are available in the market for final consumers, okay? So there is no value addition process which is happening here, because some of you, I've written this particular statement because some of you will get confused with respect to this particular terminology that I've used in the context of final goods, right? That is, some of you will basically say, sir, earlier when you were discussing intermediate goods, you stated that these are the goods which are used in the production process. And now when you're discussing final goods, especially in the context of capital goods, again you're saying these are used in the production process. How can we differentiate between the capital goods and intermediate goods? And now, let me give a very simple example, right? Imagine you're a car manufacturer. Okay, imagine you're a car manufacturer. So you will purchase a steel, you will purchase aluminum, you will purchase glass, you will purchase tires, you will purchase, let's say, engine, etc. You will put together all of these particular components. The car is ready. Okay, the car is ready. This particular process is called as value addition process. Is it okay? It is referred to as value addition process. You could have purchased all the raw materials, let's say at 3 lakh rupees. After the car is manufactured, you will be selling in the market, let's say at 5 lakh rupees. So in essence, you have added a value of 2 lakh rupees to the economy. But more importantly, it means that I'm adding value to these particular raw materials or intermediary goods. Is it okay? I'm adding value to these particular intermediary goods, right? Hence, these are examples of intermediary goods. But have a look at this. You have purchased all of these intermediate goods. You will need a particular machine to manufacture the car using all of these particular goods or intermediate goods. That machine is not getting any value addition. Have you understand this? The machine, there is no value addition. Machine is simply being purchased by the company to manufacture the car. Right? The value addition is happening in case of intermediate goods. Value addition is not happening in case of these particular capital goods. That is the important point of difference between the intermediate goods as well as the capital goods. Done? So based on the presence in the economic flow, this is one more classification that is used. Now, based on related goods, we have two more sets of goods. So one is called as a substitute goods. Second one is complementary goods. What do you mean by the substitute goods? Right, both substitute as well as complementary, both of them together can be referred to as a related goods. Done? That is the first point. Second point, within that, what do you mean by substitute goods? Earlier we have discussed the concept. Substitute goods are those set of goods which can be consumed individually in the market. I will repeat the statement here. Substitute goods are those set of goods which can be consumed individually to get certain utility or let's say benefit from this particular good. For example, cold beverages. Okay, multiple cold beverages are there. Rather than consuming all of them or a combination of them, you are going to consume one of them. Right? For example, either Thumbs Up, Coca-Cola, etc. Or coffee and tea. Is it okay? Cars of different companies, mobile phones of different companies. All these are basically the examples of substitute goods. For example, you will go to market, you will have mobile phone which is manufactured by Xiaomi, Apple, Samsung, right, etc. Will you purchase all of them? No, you will purchase one of all of these particular mobile phones which are available in the market. So in essence, you have multiple substitute out of which, or there are set of goods out of which you are purchasing one product to get certain utility. Those set of goods are called as substitute goods. But let me go one step ahead here. At the concept, yes, we have understood. But what is the application? Why do you need to study all of this? In case of the substitute goods, whenever the price of one good increases, the demand for the substitute increases. I will repeat the statement, understand this very carefully. In case of the substitute goods, when the price of one good increases, the demand for the substitute increases. Meaning what? Let's take a simple example here. You want to purchase a car. Okay, you want to purchase a car. Just like you, there will be multiple people in the market or the buyers in the market. Now imagine there are two cars here, A and B. Both of them are providing similar features, almost similar features. Only difference is, let's say, A is manufactured by one company and B is from some other company. For whatever reason, if the price of this particular car A increases, right? The price of car A increases, what will happen to demand for the car A? Demand for the car A will come down. And when the demand for this particular car comes down, what you as a consumer will do? Rather than purchasing car A, you will purchase car B. Now, rather than considering cars, right, you can apply this with respect to tea and coffee. Is it okay? You can apply this in the context of, let's say, mobile phones, cold drinks, etc. For example, imagine you're consuming tea. Okay, price of tea is 15 rupees, coffee is 15 rupees. So you are basically consuming tea. Now you'll go to the restaurant tomorrow. The owner there says, sir, price of tea has been increased to, let's say, 17 rupees now. Immediately you'll ask, sir, what about the coffee then? Right? He says, sir, no, the price of coffee remains the same. That is 15 rupees. So what you will do? Rather than purchasing tea, you will start consuming more and more of coffee. Okay, so understand this in the context of substitute goods. the price of one increases, the demand for other substitute will start increasing, right? That is important outcome with respect to, or inference that you need to understand with respect to substitute goods. Next, concept of complementary goods. In case of complementary goods, generally these are set of goods which are consumed in combination. I'll repeat it. Complementary set of goods are those goods which are consumed in combination. For example, petrol and car. Okay. Now some of you will say, sir, what about diesel car? I will write it like this. Diesel and car. I can understand. So car, when you purchase a car without fueling it or without refueling it, you cannot use this particular car. Some of you will say, sir, what if it is electric car? Then electricity and a car will be complementary goods, right? Or for that matter, another example, tea and milk, right? That is another example. Third example, the printer and ink. All these are the examples of complementary set of goods. That is, you cannot consume only one of them. You will have to consume in combination, right? So such set of goods are referred as complementary goods. Now, what is the inference that you need to draw out of complementary goods? If price of one complementary good increases, the demand for the other complementary good will come down. I'll repeat the statement here. Understand this very carefully. Price of one complementary good increases, the demand for the other will be affected. Demand is expected to come down. Why does it happen? Let's take an example here. Printer and ink. If you purchase a printer, you will have to keep on refilling the cartridges. Okay. And when the demand for the printer will automatically come down, what about the refilling of the cartridges? Right. So the demand for refilling, or let's say ink purchases in the market, will also automatically come down. So in set of complementary goods, if the price of one increases, the demand for the other is negatively related. Right. So these are the set of goods which are referred as complementary goods. Now, in addition to these types of goods in the market or in newspapers, etc., you will also come across some other types of goods. One best example for that is, remember the name here, there is one more type of a good which is called as a free good. Okay, there is one more type of a good which is called as a free good. What do you mean by free good? You don't have to pay for this particular good to purchase it. I can understand this, right? In the name itself it is given. Free good essentially is a good for which you don't have to pay in the market. And remember this, in case of the free good, because there is no question of a payment that is involved, we generally say that opportunity cost for a free good is zero. Is it okay? Opportunity cost for a free good is zero. Meaning what? There are certain goods which are naturally available for us. You don't have to pay money for this. Hence, these are called as a free good. Best example for this is the air which is available naturally, or the sunlight which is available to us naturally. Some of the books will also write water as a free good, but please understand, earlier, right, in let's say the ancient or prehistoric times, water was available free of a cost to the humans. I can understand this. It was available free of a cost. Today, can I say water is a free good? No, you cannot say water is a free good for a simple reason. Water is supplied by the government now. And for supplying this particular water, for having supplied this particular water, government will impose certain charges. I can understand this, right? So water, strictly speaking, is not a free good today, right? But earlier, yes, it was considered to be a free good, right? So these kinds of terminologies are used in the newspapers, in the exams, or in the books also. Please be very, very careful. So we have taken care of the types of goods. Now let's have a look at the concept of elasticity.